Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk all about marketing and communications right now in this turbulent time. As you can see, I am at home, so I do have two little ones at home. Hopefully, they won't run in and distract all of us, but if they do, please be patient and bear with me. I'm sure many of you also have little ones or pets or other distractions at home. So in this new world, we're all just going to give each other a lot of grace and patience, but learn a lot today as well. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm Samantha Russell from 20 Over 10. I am our Chief Marketing and Business Development Officer. I really like to call myself more our educator because my favorite thing to do is to teach other people how to use digital marketing to grow their business. And so we're really going to be talking about that today. The idea for this webinar was born out of many advisors asking me what specifically they should be doing right now to connect with clients, how much information is too much, what information should they be putting out there. And so I wanted to join all of you and share if I owned a financial planning or financial advisory business, soup to nuts, what would I be doing right now? So there's really 10 things, and we're going to go through them step by step. Just to make sure everyone can see and hear me okay, I know that Zoom is pretty much at capacity, and some other events and conferences had some technical issues today. If you could just let us know in the chat box that you can see and hear me okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can test that out too. And let us know that everything is working for you, and then we can go ahead and get started. Let's just do it this way. Okay, great. Everybody is saying they can see everything just fine. Here we are. Okay. So again, today we're talking about 9 steps that every advisor should be taking right now. So I do have slides for all of the steps and then an extra slide for resources, but I'm going to be showing live internet as well a lot. So hopefully the internet bandwidth will work for us. If you're not already, please connect with me on Twitter and LinkedIn. Those are my handles, Samantha C. Russell on LinkedIn and Samantha20 on Twitter. I love it when the advisors that we work with will tag me when they put a video out for the first time and ask for some input or ask me to like it or share a post. So a lot of you have started to do that more and more, and it's really fun for me to get to interact and engage with you that way. So please keep it up. All right, so let's jump right in. These, let me just go back here so Amanda can maybe start the recording here, are 9 marketing steps every advisor should take right now in April of 2020. So step number 1, we want you to update your website and any other place on the web where you have a contact listing. So that's going to include updating your contact information because many of you are working from home. You might have different phone numbers, different hours. You want to also have a special message, I suggest, right on your homepage. And I'm going to show you an example of that here in just a second, that talks about how people can get in touch with you if they have an emergency, any kind of resources you might want to share, things like that. And then, of course, you want to be updating your blog regularly. You'll notice on a lot of these slides, we have a how to do this, where we actually take you to a step-by-step article. All of these resources will be shared by Amanda in the back end today live, but we'll also be sending you a list of all these resources after the webinar is over. So don't feel like you frantically need to write them all down. So here's an example, Sequoia Financial Group. When you land on their site, you can see click here for updated information on the COVID-19 pandemic. Once you click that, it takes you to just a page they have with a message about how things are changing quickly, contact them at any time. And then they've just prepared a quick, list. Some of it is connected to the World Health Organization or the CDC. They have a message from their CEO. So if you're looking for an example, this is a good one. And I would make sure you date the message because things are changing so rapidly. You don't want it to be out of date, right? But it just talks more about a historical perspective of what we're seeing. So this is just a great example of how to show that you are paying attention, that you're there, and be overly communicative. I know a lot of people right now are saying, you know, how much is too much, but the fact of the matter is people are searching for information, and you want to be the person that they're going to for that information. This is that blog post that I showed before, 3/4, which we will link to, actually walks you through step by step with a video of how to make these changes in the 20/10 system. So I have that pulled up right here. But again, if you have a website with 20/10 and you're looking for guidance, you know, how can I update my contact page, right? With any of our pages, of course, it's really easy. It's a click editor. So you can see here, I've just done this for this example today. You know, due to COVID-19, our staff is now going to be working remote. You can drop in any information right on your contact page. If you're not a 20/10 customer, of course, you can do this with your normal website tool that you're using, but you want to make sure that it's easy for people to find this information. Also think about if you have elderly clients, and you know, it's scary to think about, but they could fall ill. And if their family members are the one that need to reach out to you, and you've emailed that information to clients, but their family members don't have access to it, right? So it's critically important that it be in a public place. Now is not the time to gate your email address, right? You want family members to be able to email you as well if that were to be something they need to do. Okay, so again, we'll, you know, keep putting all these links in here, but that would be the place to go to get step-by-step instructions on how to add a special message right to your homepage, how to update your contact page, and then if you want to add any blogs. And I'm just going to show that real quickly here, just as a reminder. If you are a client of 20/10 and you come into the blog page and you click manage posts, you're of course able to add your own content, your own message, but you can also, through our content library, access all of the timely content that we are putting out for you. So our content team is working around the clock right now. We are adding 3 to 4 new pieces every week to the libraries in both Lead Pilot and 20/10. And you can see that they're, you know, on very timely topics. If you want to search by trending topics, you'll see a lot of things specific to the pandemic and the economic downturn. But again, you can change any of these to be specific to your company and your firm, right? So if you wanted to add this post in, you could change this to, you know, a special message from our CEO, and then have the information, have the, you know, firm CEO sign it. You can edit anything in here that you like, but it is all formatted and set to go for you. So this is a really easy way to put out great content that you have access to right in the library. Again, if you're not a 20/10 customer, we have Lead Pilot, which you do not need to be a 20/10 customer to use, and I'll talk about more about that later, but that library also has editorial content as well as infographics and videos. Okay, so you're updating your contact information, you're putting a special message on your homepage following those instructions, and you're updating your blog with relevant information. You also want to make sure that you update your Google listing. So every single business owner should have a Google My Business listing and have claimed it. If you haven't already, the first thing you want to do is claim it. And then you want to make sure you add any new hours of operation, any new phone numbers. If your location has changed and you're working from home, you don't need to change your location, right? You still have that office, you're just not physically there. But if your hours have changed, you want to make sure that that's up to date. And Google My Business is really great because you can add posts there. So if you have a special message about you know, the coronavirus and how you're operating, that would be a great place to put it as well in your Google My Business post section. So I'll just go to the web here and do that same thing. So if I were searching Wealthkeel LLC, what I just had on that screen, right? So this is the Google My Business listing, and you can see photos, you can see all different information. You see this little alert, allow hours or services. Many of you, if you already have a Google My Business account, you'll find that Google will actually email you asking you, have your hours changed because of COVID? And so that's where you can click the button and change it. But if this is your business, you're able to come in here and make edits to it directly. So you want to make sure that you do that. All right, so I'm going to X out of the pages that we've already done. And just in case you haven't optimized your Google My Business listing or you haven't made it up to date, it's a really big component of SEO and ranking well, especially locally. So if other advisory firms in your area are outranking you for local search, a great thing to make sure you do is optimize your Google My Business listing. So we have a whole blog post about how you can claim your listing, how you should categorize it, how you should describe your business. So you can bookmark this one and take care of that while you're at it. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is get started creating content, right? So I have this graph here that I shared on LinkedIn, just talking about the idea that you can write really long articles, and you should, but you should also make sure that you're using, especially in a time like this, infographics, graphs, charts, because there is so much information being put out there right now that in order to cut through the noise and make an impact, using visual information it's so much easier to do that, right? I can sit there and write an entire article and piece about how we've seen downturns before. Yes, this is scary. We have no idea how long it's going to last. Yes, you know, it might end up rivaling something as terrible as the Great Depression. You know, all of these things could be true. But what also we know to be true is that historically that the markets come back, and we can visually show that, right? Think about how much more salient that is when you can see it and you can visualize it. So being sure that you're sharing charts and graphs and visual information is incredibly important when you're creating your content. You can pull graphs and charts like this and reshare them on social media. Just make sure that you're giving credit to wherever it is that you initially got that graph or that chart from. And if you're looking for specific content to share, in Lead Pilot specifically, we have infographics that you can use that we create again every month that help people visually communicate, right? So you're able to pull from that library as well. With any of this content that you're creating, you're gonna want to post it on your blog. You're going to be using it in emails, which we're going to talk about next, and you're going to share it on social media. The most important thing that I can advise is you all right now, you want to be in communication overdrive. You want to be sharing at least one article on the current events, putting it on your blog every single week. So I'm not necessarily saying you have to do it from scratch. You can get a leg up by, you know, going into the content library that we provide and just editing from there. Somebody's actually saying, Alan, saying he doesn't have access. If you were on one of our legacy platforms, we have some people that are still in an old price model where they're paying a much lower monthly fee without the content. So you can upgrade your account and it will just put you in a new monthly plan. So Alan, if you want to reach out to hello@20over, we can help you. But Amanda's putting instructions right there that would apply to everybody on how to update your website subscription to get access to all that fantastic content. So, okay, you're updating your website's contact information, your Google My Business listing, then you start creating content. And again, at least one article per week. So again, if you don't want to create that content from scratch, you can come into the content library like I showed you and edit pieces that are already in there. And again, if you're not a 20 over 10 customer, you can do the same exact thing with our lead. Oops, where is it? I have too many open. With our Lead Pilot tool. So the Lead Pilot tool goes beyond just editorial content to also include infographics as well as videos. So again, for instance, if you wanted to share a really great graphic about the economic stimulus, we have that in there. So I'm not saying that you necessarily have to create it 100% from scratch, but you at least want to be tweaking the article and making it specific for your audience. Okay, next, what you want to do is start using video. As I mentioned when we first jumped on this, Zoom is experiencing, lots of issues right now because of the total number of people that are trying to use the app all at once. Everyone is at home. Everyone is online. And if you can't connect with your clients physically, yeah, you can call them and that's great, but actually them being able to see your face, hear your voice, look at your nonverbal cues, it just gives us all a sigh of relief. Any of you who have, FaceTimed or done a Zoom call with friends or family over the last couple of weeks can attest to this, right? Think about how your heart rate slowed and how it brought a smile to your face, being able to see the other person on the other side of a camera, right? So this is the exact same thing that happens when you do video communications. It doesn't need to be that you just Zoom with your clients. You can send them a video just checking in on them, right? So yeah, you can give them a call and talk back and forth, but you can also create a video just saying, hi, Bill. I know things are tough right now. I know that all of your restaurants closed. I wanted to create this video to check in on you and also to share some other information about resources that are available to you right now through the Paycheck Protection Program, right? So you can be really, really specific. Now you can make them specifically for one client. That might be very hard to do if you have lots of clients, but you can also make a more general, broad one that you can send to all of your clients, but that will still have that same impact because they're seeing your face and hearing your voice. So it can be overwhelming for people to get started with video marketing, I know, but I'm here to promise you that it is not complicated. So we have this blog post here, how advisors can record videos right on their phone on a shoestring budget. And in this video, I take you through step by step, the 3 steps that you need to do to record it on your phone, upload it to, wherever you're going to put it, Vimeo, YouTube, add the captions, and then start sharing. The one thing that I really want you to pay attention to is when you start uploading video, don't do this. So a lot of you will upload the video to YouTube, right? And so let's say this is the one that we want to use. You'll grab this URL, or you'll come down here to the share, and you'll, grab the URL there. So either one would work. And then you'll go into, let's say, LinkedIn, and you will drop that URL in. That is not the way that you want to share video. What you actually want to do, and the reason why is because you're sending people to YouTube, and LinkedIn wants people to stay in the feed, and people can watch your whole video in the feed if you upload it natively. So instead, what you want to do is click this video button and select from your files the video to share. So if you're on your phone, it's really easy. You can just pull it right from your camera roll. If you want to add captions through a tool like Headliner, you can add it to Dropbox first and then upload the video directly from Dropbox. So by doing it this way, again, you're going to get a lot more views and eyeballs on your video on social media. Now, if you're sharing it with clients in an email, of course, yes, you would just put the link to your YouTube channel. Now, a question came in, if I am doing a video and I only want clients to see it, how would that work? So within YouTube, you can actually mark any video as unlisted, which, oh, Amanda's saying this right now, which will generate a link that you can share with clients. So when you come over here to upload a video, you'll have a bunch of different options of once you upload the video. So you'll select the file, and then it'll say, do you want it to be private, unlisted, and you're able to select the way that you want it to appear. So that would be, and you can see here under visibility, yeah, this one says private, this one says public. So for instance, I created a video earlier this week about 4 ways consumer behaviors are changing and 2 ways that businesses can make sure that they're not only going to survive this, but thrive. We're not releasing that till Monday, so it's set to private. Once we change it to public, everyone will be able to see it. But if we had it as unlisted, only those who have the link to it will be able to view it. Any other questions about YouTube? If you want to ask them now, I'm happy to answer them. I know on the last webinar we had, a lot of you had questions specifically about YouTube. Okay, how do we put graphics on the video thumbnails so they look sharp and modern? I would highly suggest you use a tool called Canva. So this is our Canva account. And there's all different templates that you can pull from in Canva. So thumbnails specifically for video. Once you create your graphic, you'll go back into YouTube. And if you come here to the editor down here, you're able to upload a new thumbnail. So you don't have to use the thumbnail that's provided to you. You can upload a new thumbnail. And this is where you would do it. So you can see it looks a lot better to have this video than just a picture of me sitting in my car, which is where I have to go to record videos now because my children are everywhere. I'm sure some of you can relate. So Canva is where we would suggest you go to create that graphic that you put over the video, and then here's where you would go to update it. Any other questions about YouTube right now, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'll go on to the next step beyond video. Okay. Oh, I somehow missed a step 4 and went straight to 5. So this is actually step 4. Bear with me. I've been creating a lot of presentations and content recently. So the next step is to send a weekly email to all of your clients. And what I want you to do here is think about that one article or a couple articles that you yourself wrote and put on your blog, whether you're using them from the content we have in our library or original piece. And so you can link to that. But you also want to include articles from around the web that are rooted in data, that are level-headed, and that are going to be useful for your audience to read, right? So this is a great example where this advisor is saying, you know, I'm going to list out a bunch of information you should know. And if you scroll through this email, it has information about what to know about stimulus checks, loan forgiveness programs, the Paycheck Protection Program. But he's saying, here's the 3 places where I got it from, right? If we think back to that Sequoia website I showed you earlier, on that page that they had like, here's information from the World Health Organization. Here's information from the CDC. Share relevant articles and information that are worth your client's time. And the reason that I want you to do this is for a couple things. Number one, you're staying in front of them. You're showing them what you're reading and being highly communicative. And you'll get people writing back saying, oh, I read that article too. What did you think about X? But also, if you're not sharing information, they're going to go out looking for it. And you don't want them reading things, because anyone can be a content creator today, that, you know, are rooted in fear or going to cause them to try to make rash decisions that don't align with their financial plan. So this is really, really important, and the proactive piece of communication. You could, if you've never done a weekly email before, you may want to start with your first message by saying, I'm going to be sending you a weekly email. If this is too much, you know, let me know, and I can take you off the list. So that's what I would suggest in terms of how you would approach it with your current clients. Now with prospects, you want to do something similar, but just have a little bit of a different tone and a different call to action. So you want to make sure you have 2 separate lists, one for clients and one for prospects. You could segment it a lot more, many other ways, but that's the bare minimum. And you also want to keep them separate, because that will allow you to get a much better sense of what prospects are reading versus what clients are reading, what the click-through and the open rates are. If you put them all together, it's impossible to split out that data easily, right? So this is an example from a CPA company, you know, just sharing information about how the tax deadline updates have changed. With any of your prospect emails, always have a call to action once they've read the email that says, you know, do you need help? We're here to help, or we're working with people just like you to help them during this turbulent time, you know, book a time on our calendar. So you always want to include a call to action for prospects that's specific for how they can get started working with you or connecting with you if they have questions. This is a great email resource that we have, all about what you might want to do with email. So I have it right here. So just, you know, how you should have a system in place, making sure it's optimized for mobile, what kind of subject lines work best. If you go to either of our blogs, though, blog.tonyreturn.com or the Lead Pilot blog, and you search email, there are a wealth of resources that you can read, all about, you know, whether service providers, what's the best time of day to send email, all kinds of information, how to segment the list. So if you're diving into this for the first time and you're looking for information, this is a great place to start. Okay. Any questions about email? Okay, I think we're all good there. Okay, next, and this might be a little bit controversial for what some people will maybe disagree with me, but I'm going to encourage all of you. You should be posting right now on social media every single day, daily, to your business account and your personal account. And that may seem like a lot. There's social media scheduling tools that you can use to help. It doesn't obviously need to be all content that you create. It can be content that you're curating from other places, but you need to be out there being proactive with your communication. There's a lot of data gathering happening right now, and I've been searching the internet like crazy trying to find the latest figures. They haven't been released yet. But the thought is that the amount of time that people are spending on social media right now is double or even triple what they were spending pre-pandemic. So if you want to get in front of people, you need to be where they're already spending time, and where that there's time that they're spending is online, especially on social media. So again, the more graphs, charts, and visual information you can share, the better. I'm just going to show you something quickly here about scheduling things. Now, whether you use Lead Pilot to schedule your social media or something else, you want to have daily information going out that is helpful, right? So in Lead Pilot, you can create a daily campaign. So I have one set up here, coronavirus campaign for social media. And you can see day one, this post, stimulus checks are coming for Americans. Here's what you need to know is coming out. And I have it shared to Facebook and LinkedIn. You can customize, the message. You can tag people with the @ symbol or use a hashtag. You can put all that information in there. And then once, it looks good, you got it confirmed. That's day one. Day two, we're going to share the economic stimulus infographic. Day three, we're going to share another infographic about should you invest during a marketing downturn. Day four, we're going to share something or day five about should you take up to the $100,000 limit from your 401k or IRA. So you don't need to share to all the same pages at the same time and on the same day. And in fact, that's probably one of my biggest tips, is that when you're scheduling the content, you don't want to just take one piece of content and schedule it for Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn at the exact same time on the exact same day with the exact same text to describe it, right? So to give you an example here, if I was going to share to, let's say, just LinkedIn and Twitter, I can customize this one to say, how will the coronavirus impact the market and your personal finances? We are sharing some historical information to take a look at what might happen in the future, right? So we might say something like that on LinkedIn, but then for Twitter, we could change it so that it's just that, right? And we don't share them at the exact same time. So again, you want to stagger what you're sharing and when, so that it doesn't look like everything is automated. And also so that if somebody is going to LinkedIn and then Twitter and then Facebook all at once, checking all three platforms, they're not seeing the same message from you 3 times. If you're scheduling out social media, the other thing I would highly suggest doing is, if you have an article that is something like 5 factors to consider about this, or let me just find one. Here we go. Tax Day 2020, 5 important things to know. When you're sharing on social media, another thing you can do for higher engagement is look at a point, one of the pieces that's in your article, and play on that. So you might say, most people, aren't aware of number 4. So trying to get people to click on it or be interested in it based upon the mystery of what it is you're talking about, right? So you might say something like, number 4 on this list may surprise you, right? So you can switch up how you talk about the post each time to get more clicks. Okay. We're getting some questions about Lead Pilot. Just to show you really quickly, in terms of compliance, There is a compliance PDF of all of the content. So if you're using content from LeadPilot and not your own content, you'll obviously need to get that approved. So there's a compliance PDF that you can share. It's everything all packaged up. And then for your team, depending on how they set it up, we have a seats and teams program. So we have many of our larger groups have all their advisors under one team. A compliance officer can be part of that team, and then they can monitor everything. And then every single person who has an account has this archive section where it shows what was posted, when it was posted. And if you click on any one of them or you download that packaged piece of content, it will give you all the information you need or the compliance officer needs for review. So that's how the compliance piece of that works. I'm getting a lot of questions about pricing. I was going to save this for the end, but I'll just share this now. We put this, our CEO put this blog post together about what our commitment to helping advisors use content marketing and helping with crisis communications at this time. We know this is an unprecedented time. And so those of you who have 20 over 10, you can use the content in the library, and that's great. But there's a lot of you who want to make it easier to schedule social media campaigns, easier to do email. So we are currently offering an extra month on the trial for LeadPilot. So the whole first month free, even on our month-to-month plan. So if you wanted to try it for a month, just right now, even amid all of this chaos, you could do that and then cancel your subscription after that first month is up. After the first month is up, we are also offering the first year at 50% off. So it would be $124.50 a month or $149.50 a month, depending on if you pay annual or monthly. So you can get all that information in this blog post, and we'll share it more in the email as well. Okay, so the next step is to discover what is actually resonating most with your audience, right? A lot of you will just post based on what you think is interesting or what maybe your colleagues think is interesting, but that's not what's important. What's important is what are people actually reading and clicking on. And so the couple places I want you to go, number one, use Google Analytics for your website. That's what you see right here. It will show you, and I can open this up really quickly for you. I have it pulled up here. So if you're in your home section of your website, you can go a couple different places, and real quick, this Insights tab is amazing that Google Analytics recently added, because it will show you all different kinds of performance. Like right now, where am I getting, most of my new visitors from, right? And it will show you most of them right now for the 20 over 10 blog are coming from organic search. That means people going into Google and searching for things and finding us. Email is one of our smallest, and that's because we have a really robust blog. For many of you, you're going to see email probably be one of your highest places that people find your blog, which that's fine. So there's all different kinds of insights that you can get here. Even, what are my top pages? What are people looking at the most? And it will give you a breakdown. So for us right now, the webinar we did with Taylor last month about automating processes is one of our highest blog posts, or what's the difference between Google Analytics and Google Search Console. So you can look at all of that information, and they make it really easy to dig into the data. But for most of you, what I want you to do is go down here to the behavior tag. Okay. And then under site content, I want you to look at all pages. And then you can see here, you can change the date range. So I think up here, yeah, so right now I have it selected just the last week. You can pick all time, but right now, obviously what I want you to do is what are people reading the most right now over the last couple of weeks while this is happening? And that's what's gonna be important over all of April too, as you put out new content related to the pandemic and the economic downturn. So you can come up here now and start looking and seeing. So our piece, 3 critical website updates to make in the wake of the coronavirus, is getting so many hits and being read, which makes sense. Also, the one about 5 marketing communication tips. So you can use Google Analytics to look and see what's becoming most popular. But then if you click on it, what's even more powerful, I think, is not only, you know, which pages are performing the best, but how did people find those pages, right? That's also critically important. If Google will load. So if you click on it, there's a secondary dimension you can search for. Here we go. So now we can go to acquisition and say referral path. And now it's going to show us not only, you know, that the article was read, but where people were finding it from. So that is a very, you know, easy to use tip that you would want to look at. So Google Analytics is where you can figure out, you know, from a content perspective, who's reading it. You can also, one other tip, look at audience and look at your geographic location. So if you're really specifically focused on people in Annapolis, Maryland, for instance, you want to make sure that you're putting keywords related to Annapolis in your content. So again, in the content library, when you're editing your article, if you were using the article, stimulus checks are coming, you know, for Americans, here's what you need to know. You might want to update that to stimulus checks are coming for Annapolis residents, right? Because you're putting the keyword for the content you want to rank for. So to see how your efforts are paying off with that, you can actually, in Google Analytics, look by location and start to see, okay, are the most visits coming from the Maryland area? Am I hitting my geographic targets? There's nothing you can do to prevent people from other parts of the country from finding you, but you can start looking at adding more keywords that are location specific into your content. Okay, and then the other one is social media analytics. So for anything that you're posting on social media, whether it's LinkedIn, if it's Twitter, it's going to give you analytics about how those posts are performing, right? So on LinkedIn, you'll get notifications, of course, but if you just go to your actual profile and then you click on, here we go, see all, and then posts, you can look at any one particular post and see how it's performing. So you can see how many comments, how many views specifically that you're getting on any of that content. On Twitter, if you click on any one particular piece of content, you can view tweet activity and it will break down for you more information there. So you can do this by platform to see what's performing really well. In Lead Pilot, what we've done for you is taken all of that data and put it into one dashboard so that you can start to see what's performing well across all the platforms. So you can see, am I doing better on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn? And then you can also break that down by particular pieces of content. So it makes it a lot easier. And then you can also look at just specifically like email engagement. How well are my emails getting opened or read? So again, you can either do it individually by platform if you don't have a tool like Lead Pilot, or Lead Pilot will put it all into one place for you. Okay, and then just a couple more things. We were flying through these. Thank you everybody for joining us today. If you have any other questions, by the way, I'm seeing some more come in. I am just about 2 slides away from getting to all your questions, so keep them coming and we'll make sure that we have time to answer all of them. So the next thing, once you have saw how your own website is performing, you also want to think about what are people searching for in general. So there's a couple great places to do this. The first one is Google Trends. And I have a graph here that I was astounded by that I came across last week. When I was on Google Trends, I was looking at what are people searching for right now related to the economic downturn. And the search term, what should I do with my 401k right now? You can see from last year to this year what happened, right? You see that massive spike. So Google doesn't actually tell you the total number of people searching for it. Google Trends doesn't. What they tell you is on a level of 0 to 100, how popular is that search term, with 100 being the most popular it can be. Last week, this search was the most popular that it could be. So everybody basically who has questions about their 401k, that's what they're searching for. And so this is really important because it will help you create content that's going to resonate with the people that you want to connect with, right? If you can create a blog post, what should I do with my 401k right now? You'll be really well poised to capture intent and capture people that are out there looking for this information who may never have worked with the financial advisor before. And there's many Americans in that spot. So you would just truly go to Google Trends. And when you get into Google Trends, it's really easy to do. So I'll just show you how I got that last query. So you'll click on it, and then it will show you at a glance what people are searching for in general. But you can, so let's just search for that. And it's taking a little bit, but it will come up and it will give you some information and some data about what people are actually searching for. And so you can see it has went down since last week, big time. So there's a lot of people who were capitalizing on this. They're going to reap the benefit. And then this week, it's probably a new search term. You could actually see what states most people are searching for this query. And then it will, looks like Google's experiencing some technical delays, but normally they'll give you other examples of content that you might also want to write about that would be similar. So another way that you can do that is start typing into Google and see what comes up, and then get information that way. So either of those are a great way, but I especially like Google Trends in order to pool data for you. And we have a blog post here about, that's the wrong blog post, Amanda, if you can pull it, about Google Search Console. So that is one other one that we suggest that you use. I just searched that for you. So Google Search Console will actually show you what your website is performing best for beyond just Google Analytics. So you can set it all up, and then you can actually see what keywords people are searching for, how many clicks, how many impressions that your website is being shown for those clicks, and how to perform better. So those are the tools that we would suggest for that. So in a nutshell, people are online right now more than ever, and they are looking for information. And if you want to look like you're being proactive, you want to stay in front of people, you want to make sure you're sharing timely, relevant information, you need to be creating at least one blog post and adding it to your blog weekly. You need to update those contact pages and your business listings with relevant hours of operation and up-to-date contact information. And you need to be posting daily on social media. And then taking the content you're creating and sharing a weekly email with all of your clients and prospects. So we are here to help. This is the information that I was sharing before. Anyone who signs up with Lead Pilot right now is automatically getting a 30-day free trial. So you would go to leadpilot.io. You would just create an account. If you click this Get Started button. Oh, I'm already logged in, so let me just log out really fast here so I can show you what that looks like. So you will create an account, and then once you've created your account, the 30-day trial will automatically be extended for you. You do need to enter a credit card to get started in general, but your card won't be charged those whole 30 days. So if you get started, you put your credit card in, you're playing around with it, and then you decide, okay, I don't want to keep using this, you can just cancel, because we do offer month-to-month subscriptions. If you want to keep using it, you love the timely, relevant content we're including, you like that you can schedule social media posts and do email marketing, then you can use these codes here to get 50% off for your entire first year. Okay, I'm gonna look through some of the questions that we have. I have some other slides here just about best practices for creating video, adding podcasts, infographics, writing blogs, creating landing pages, which all can be done in this tool too. But I'm not gonna go through them all. We'll leave them in the slide deck and we'll make sure that we share it with you. This is all of our direct contact information, my direct email, if you would like to get in touch and learn more about this program. Okay, let me look through the questions really quickly. Somebody's asking, can you outsource social media to another firm? If you are using Lead Pilot, we do have a marketing success coach program that we just launched. So I'll just put that in right here. If you go to pricing, you can see more about that. It's $199 a month, and that person will help you get your social media scheduled, get everything set up, launch your campaigns. So that is something that you can utilize. If you're looking for third-party marketing firms that are going to go well beyond helping you schedule content and manage your social, but they're going to write articles for you and all that, send us an email. Email me, Samantha@20over10.com, and I can send you some names of people that I would suggest you look up to. Okay. Somebody asked about the relationship between 20 over 10 and Lead Pilot. So any of the content that you share on Lead Pilot can be pushed automatically to your website through an RSS feed, and that is very easy to set up. We are offering this 50% off for the first year for new subscribers right now. After that, and always, everybody who's both a Lead Pilot user and a 20 over 10 user gets 30% off of Lead Pilot. So it effectively makes their website free. And that will continue on even after that 50% off discount for right now would be over. Okay. And you do not need to be a 20 over 10 customer to use Lead Pilot, but you don't even have to have a website to use Lead Pilot. One of the great things about Lead Pilot is if you're an advisor at a firm and the firm has a website, but you really want to be posting your own content, you want to be connecting with your own audience, you know, you want to have your own place online, this is a fantastic solution for that. And one thing that I didn't get a chance to show you all is that all of the content that's generated from Lead Pilot, so this is like an example of what some of the social posts look like, it gets put on these branded landing pages that reinforce each individual particular advisor. So if Philip is an advisor at Black Oak and Tom and Joseph, they're all part of this company, they each have their own branded landing pages. Here's another example. So all of the content that you share gets put on these branded landing pages for each individual advisor. If you have multiple advisors signing up, you don't each pay the normal fee. It's $100 per additional seat, and we offer big discounts once you get to 25 seats or more. Okay. I just have lots of good questions. Amanda's doing a great job answering them. Questions about email lists. Oh, really quickly, because somebody was asking about more about social media ideas. If you go to our Lead Pilot blog, I'll just show you this again. So it's leadpilot.io/blog, and you search. So I search social media. You can see here, we have so many great tool tips, guides, resources, everything from, you know, I love this one, which outlines what demographics are on each platform. So, you know, what's the key takeaway? Who should be on Facebook? Who should be on Instagram? Who should use Twitter? All the way to tools to make your posts look really great, what time of day to post. So you can use that, any of those tools or blog posts to help you. For email, all of the email that you wanted to do, you can either do it as an individual campaign. So as I showed you before, you can build campaigns and add to them in Lead Pilot. So you could build an email only campaign and have it go out over time. Or you can choose any one piece of content or compose your own content to build out email. So if you wanted to create an email update to everyone, you could come in here and say, you know, April newsletter, and you know the author is Samantha Russell, and you could say how is everyone doing, you know, blah blah blah. You could come in here, you could say number 1 CDC chart, number 2, and you could link to things. You can add in photos, add in videos, so you can create all of that. Once you've created it and you're ready to share it, you would come here to share, and then you can either send it out now or schedule for later. So it's all in one location, and then here's where you would go in and decide where you're going to put it. So obviously, I didn't do much, so that's why it doesn't look like much, but you can decide, do you want it to go to all your contacts? Do you want it just to go to ExxonMobil employees? Do you want it to go to people in Austin, Texas, just new prospects? You can pick and choose, and that's how you can do, you know. Okay. Is LeadPilot its own email platform? Yes, it is its own email platform. We do have integrations. So under the settings, when you want to get started with email, we do have integrations right now with Redtail, Wealthbox, and Riskalyze. We have a webinar that will be coming up with Wealthbox about that integration. We already did one with Redtail, which we can link to. It's pretty straightforward. Like, you know, you connect and then you can decide, do you want all of the new leads from Redtail to come in, or only those that are in LeadPilot going into Redtail? So you can pick and choose how you want that to work. With Riskalyze, it's a little bit more robust in that you can also display the risk number that everybody has, and filter by the risk number as well. So those are the integrations we have. If you're using Salesforce and Riskalyze, since Riskalyze is integrated with Salesforce, then you know those, it would be the connection between the two. Okay, I'm still going through the questions you guys have. Thank you for bearing with me. And if anyone is signing off, we will be sending this to all of you with all the resources. So thank you so much for your time right now. I would like to invite people who are not my friends who have liked one of my Facebook posts to also like my page. She's saying that her compliance officer told her that that was not okay to ask people. Different people have different rules. I'm not a compliance expert, so you would want to check with your compliance officer. But I know many advisors who have invited people to like their page. So again, I know that many people do that. If it's against your own compliance rules, you would need to check with your compliance officer. I don't know if anybody else wants to weigh in. If you've asked someone to like your Facebook page, let us know if you did and if it was okay. Any plans to integrate with Tamarack? We have a very long product roadmap of different integrations. If we haven't integrated with your current CRM provider, you can, of course, import any lists here. And so I highly recommend you do that. But we have many integrations planned and coming down the pipeline. So I don't need to pay for something like ConvertKit in addition to what I would pay for LeadPilot. ConvertKit's a little different because it's specific for content creators. So we would want to you'd want to talk and schedule a time with someone on our team to just go through one by one how you use ConvertKit and make sure that it covers everything. So I would definitely go to leadpilot.io and click this schedule a one-on-one demo and find out, share with them how you're using ConvertKit and then ask them if all of those things can be accomplished in LeadPilot. We are building out the capabilities of our LeadPilot email platform to be more robust day by day. So it could also be something that's on the roadmap, but we would need to know more specific. So Patrick Laughley, hi Patrick, how are you in Cincinnati? It's been a while since I've seen you. Said that according to our compliance officer, liking and LinkedIn endorsements are considered testimonials in the eyes of the SEC. So again, I think one of the things is we see advice from some people that are very conservative and others that are more liberal. And so it's probably best to always err on the side of being conservative. I know the SEC has a proposal in front of them right now for updating guidelines related to social media. So this all could be changing soon too. Okay. So those, it looks like I got to most of the questions. There was a question about if the content has been FINRA approved. So FINRA actually doesn't approve any content. There is something called FINRA review, where they'll review things. But because we allow you to edit the content, you still need to get it reviewed again by your compliance officer, right? Because the whole point is that we're providing pieces that you can tweak and edit so that everybody's not sharing the same thing. And so once you start making those edits, you're going to need to resubmit it. So that is an important point. Okay. Any other questions? Again, if you haven't already, I do encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We share a quick 5-minute marketing video every single week to help all of you market your business better. So it's just 20/10 on YouTube. And if you haven't connected with me on LinkedIn, I highly suggest we connect there. I love hearing from all of you. And same thing with Twitter. I know not as many people are on Twitter, but it's Samantha20 is my Twitter handle. And the last thing I would highly suggest you do is subscribe to our blog. So the Lead Pilot blog is separate from the 20/10 blog, because the 20/10 blog is more specific about website design, driving traffic, converting leads from your website. The Lead Pilot blog is more focused on social media, email marketing. So they're 2 separate blogs. You can subscribe to both, and every other week we'll send you an email, or you can subscribe to just one based upon your interests. If this is helpful to you, let us know. We love to know what you found most helpful, what you, would like to learn more about. And again, I'll just leave this last slide up here with information about, the promo codes in case anyone wants to take advantage of that. And again, if you go to leadpilot.io, you can book a meeting with our team, and that you can talk with them about websites, about your current account, about getting started, whatever you need. Stay healthy, everyone. And I hope you continue to have a great April and make the most of this time at home with your family and your loved ones. Thanks, everybody. Take care.